Hey you! You're watching a clip from the DynamiteGizmo podcast. This is not the full episode, but if you want to see the full episode, make sure to click the link in the description. And remember, like, comment, subscribe. Do it now! Here's the clip. I have to talk about Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. I have no choice. Normally, I don't talk about anything outside of UFC-related content, but guess what? We're heading into 6 weeks of darkness, as I said. So I don't have a choice. We have to talk about Jake Paul. And honestly, I'm not even that disgruntled about it because I actually think this one might be worth talking about. If you somehow don't know by now, Jake Paul is boxing Anthony Joshua, a multi-time heavyweight boxing champion and a Olympic gold medalist champion boxer. I don't know if there's gold medals for boxing, but he was in the Olympics and he boxed. Okay, I don't know nearly as much about boxing as I do the UFC, so excuse me if I get something wrong. All I can say is he is a legitimate, elite level heavyweight boxer. A man who just proved that Francis Ngannou is not as big and scary as everyone thought, knocking him out cold, face down to the canvas in round 2 of a 10-round fight. Jake Paul has had a decent number of boxing matches at this point, and in every single one of them, people discredit him. He fights smaller guys, he fights retired guys, he fights older guys. The names are big, but they all fit those categories. But this time, it's a little different. This is the first fight Jake Paul has taken where you genuinely cannot say that he is not that you can't discredit him for this fight. This is a legitimate boxing fight. This is the fight everyone was waiting for. This was what people were waiting for Jake Paul to do. Anthony Joshua is still active, still in his prime. And again, a legitimate high-level heavyweight boxer. There is no angle here where you can say Jake stacked the deck in his favor. And yet, something about this doesn't sit well with me. Because Jake Paul was originally supposed to fight Gervonta Davis, who was also an elite boxer, completely undefeated, multi-time defending champion, and absolutely in his prime. But the thing is, Gervonta Davis fights at 130 pounds. That fight was immediately criticized because, once again, even though there was no trickery involved, the size advantage heavily favored Jake, like multiple weight classes apart from one another. Now keep that in mind because when that fight fell apart, because that was originally what was supposed to be this Friday, Jake immediately pivoted to guys like Francis Ngannou and Nate Diaz and Anthony Joshua. And specifically, Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua are two massive heavyweight athletes. Monsters. Guys with decades more experience than Jake and who are still completely actively competing. So my question is this. Why was Jake so quick to completely flip the script? He went from fighting a guy who was significantly smaller than him to willingly chasing some of the biggest, most dangerous heavyweights on the goddamn planet. And not only that, but he's insanely confident that he's going to dominate Anthony Joshua. If you follow Jake's career from the start, you know one thing. Jake does not take fights unless he believes he can win. That's not an insult. That's just a fact based on how he's built his resume. So again, why the sudden confidence? Why the immediate switch from Davis to Joshua? What does Jake know that we don't? Because on paper, this should end only one way. Anthony Joshua knocking Jake Paul out inside of 2 rounds. I've got a quick clip to show you. I've got a clip to show. I've got a clip to show you. You're a fucking hoe. Okay.
No fear, because I have faith in God putting me into this moment for a reason.
You see with Jake, what I learned about Jake is someone where I got to beat him mentally because he's a mental person. This is my observation. A lot of what Jake's preparation is based around is not only the physical aspects of training, but the way he thinks, meditation, breath work. If I can break his soul and I can break his mentality, then I've broken Jake. This is why it's going to be an interesting fight, because I just don't look at it from a physical standpoint. I know the person that's in front of me, and I know that I got to break it. That's what I said, I got to take his soul. It's not just physical, I got to take your soul in the ring.
Only person that can do that is God.
I knew he was going to say that.
Is he fucking with your brain?
No, I don't know. That's what I was gonna ask, is how do you plan on doing that? Like, when is it gonna start? When are you gonna start taking it?
I've just seen in fights when I can see someone's, let's call it energy, frequency leaving their body. And that's what my goal is to do the same to you. You have that instinct. You can see it. When you're fighting, you can just see a small glimmer of someone that's just about to start fading. And then you just keep exploiting that until some people give up. Some people get knocked out. I want to break him down spiritually and mentally.
Now,
Yeah, except that it's funny because the pressure's on you. And like when I win the first round and the second round, and I think it's going to be you that starts to crumble because all the pressure's on you. I'm fighting free. There's no weight on my shoulders. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to prove anything. You have so much to prove. I already took over this whole game, did everything I want. I'm playing on house money, so I think it's going to be you that starts to be like, oh, fuck it. One round, two round, three round, and then
I live up to the expectation of what people have.
I believe you're ready, yeah, but I'm just thinking.
Bring it on.
okay.
Bring it on. It's just me and you. It's only Jake Paul's name that gets mentioned, not your coaches. None of my coaches, just me. So I'm not worried about my dad there, my mom there, my cousin, my auntie, my uncle. Oh, they can all stay at home. I'm there to work.
Do you think you're gonna knock him out?
I know it, yeah. It's already written.
Where?
In the history books, brother. It's destiny.
In yours, not mine.
No, it is.
Not
You'll
mine.
see. I don't need to go into detail, brother.
That doesn't cross my mind.
It's already written.
It doesn't cross my mind.
I'm certain
at
of
all.
it.
It doesn't cross my
I'm
mind.
certain of
at
it.
all.
There's only one God, and God wrote it, so
It doesn't cross my mind.
it's in your book too, whether you like it or not.
We'll see.
The
We'll
final chapter.
What the fuck? God damn. How about, like, not just automatically play a video right after that? I'm trying to do something here, huh? I'm trying to film a fucking poop cast, motherfucker. I can't believe it did that to me. Now, Anthony Joshua is 28-4 and coming off of a loss. And yes, that is one of the only saving graces here. Joshua has lost before. 2 of those losses came back-to-back against Alexander Usyk, who was arguably one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time. Now, he lost the title to Andy Ruiz Jr., then immediately turned around winning it back from him. And finally, his most recent loss and most recent fight was Daniel Dubois. So yes, Anthony is capable of losing, but that still does not make me believe Jake Paul has a real chance. Interview after interview from current boxers, former boxers, UFC fighters, analysts, journalists, all seem to land on the same conclusion. Jake cannot possibly win this fight. And honestly, How could he? If Jake goes out there and loses to Anthony Joshua, then fine. Nothing fishy. Everything checks out. That's the way it should have been. But if this fight goes the distance and Jake wins by decision, or worse, if Jake wins by knockout, what are we supposed to think? Is Jake really that good? I mean, there's no way. I won't believe it. I don't care. But at the same time, you kind of have to believe it. Because this is the test. This is the fight that proves his skill. What am I supposed to do? Just keep saying every single win from here on out is manufactured? I'm always curious going into Jake's fights. How is this going to play out? When it came to Mike Tyson, like everyone else, we all wanted Tyson to knock him out, but anyone with even a basic understanding of combat sports knew that that wasn't happening. Mike Tyson was 58 years old and hadn't had a win since 2003. You can't be the greatest fighter forever. Age hits fast in combat sports. And that fight went exactly how it was expected, exactly how I expected. Full distance, light sparring, Jake won by decision. So when Jake fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. after the Mike Tyson fight, there was a concern that this trend of light sparring decision wins would continue. That it would just be another safe, controlled session just to simply get the win and simply get the paycheck and the eyeballs. But it wasn't exactly that. It was a decision, yes, but it wasn't light sparring. They looked pretty decently legit in there. Jake won, and it felt like a real fight. And that leads to the uncomfortable question. Is there a chance fighters simply get paid enough to make sure they don't go all out on Jake? I'm not saying this is the truth or the reality of what's happening or for sure. This is all speculation. This is all alleged speculation. I don't like thinking that way, but it's not like it's impossible. And if there ever were to be someone who could pull something like that off, it would be a former Disney kid turned YouTuber with unlimited money who didn't start boxing until his 20s. A guy who started his own boxing promotion, only fights within that promotion, and handpicks opponents who look good on his record while becoming exponentially wealthier in the process. A man who built an empire off marketing himself way before boxing was ever even a part of the plan. Now let me be clear, I'm not saying that's what's happening. Jake Paul does train hard. He has access to elite coaching and training. There is a chance he's better than we all think. Or maybe that's just all part of the performance. Not saying that's the case. Again, I'm not saying that's the case. Oh, I just fucking closed all my fucking notes. Closed them all. Great. But what I will say is this. One way or another, questions are going to be answered, or not, this Friday. And it's on Netflix. So tune into Netflix and figure out what time it is because it's different for everybody. For me, it's like 6 p.m., I think. That's when the main card starts. So let me ask you. If this fight goes the distance, or Jake wins by knockout, forget the knockout. If this fight goes the distance and Jake wins that way, no, you know what? If the fight goes the distance, or okay, if the fight goes the distance and Jake Paul wins that way, or if Jake Paul gets the knockout and wins that way too, or TKO, whatever, does that prove that Jake Paul is legit, or does it raise even more red flags? You got to let me know. please, for the love of God, let me know.
Tap here to watch the full episode of the Dynamite Gizmo podcast.